At ArtPrize, there's a layer of chaos that happens when 1,500 artists and 1,000 volunteers and 500,000 visitors and so many voices and so many actions. There's a chaotic energy that happens that is hard to describe and capture, but I think that this year's design really comes close to it. The beginning of the design came from the idea of courage and what it takes to make that first mark, to move from an idea to an expression. At ArtPrize, artists do this on a citywide scale, and their expressions take myriad forms. And so we wanted a design this year that captured that act and inspired people to take that as far as they can.
So there is a kind of a beautiful chaos that happens during ArtPrize. In our studio, we can hear the rumble of the street up here because there's just 100,000 people out there, ArtPrizing. ArtPrize is a loose framework and a little bit of chaos, or maybe a lot of chaos, and so we tried to imbue this year's design with that.
There's a really great quote: "Creativity is the courage to let go of certainties." In that creative process, when you make that first mark, when you make that first decision, you have to let go of those certainties to actually create something new and do something that hasn't been done before.
How do we get that to work through a design? Well, part of it was just using techniques that we couldn't fully control, like a palette knife on paper. And we could maybe control the color, but not every aspect of it.
It's a single hand and a single palette knife that's spreading that paint, but there's a chaotic form that takes place that the artist isn't in control of.
It was really important to use techniques that were offline because they allowed for the happy accidents to happen and for true chaos to be woven in there in an authentic way.
So ArtPrize 9 is about celebrating that individual creative act and the courage that it takes to make a mark. So the paint swash and the individual graphic elements of the ArtPrize 9 design are a tribute to the thrilling, and if you've been there, that terrifying moment where an artist makes their first mark.
It's exciting to see the design fill the city because it really sets a tone that, like, okay, it's ArtPrize season and the street banners are up and you drive into town, you're like, it's happening. And so I'm curious about how this year's design will influence the dialogue.
ArtPrize casts a very, very wide net. We ask a lot of people to be courageous in their acts of creative expression, courageous amidst the chaos that happens, and we have that door open for all people.